Welcome back to the J. Nicole Show. Listen, this is a different type of vibe. This is where you tune in and you listen to me talking my ish. So if this is your first time here, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It should be over the top. It should be me just doing too much like I like to do. And yeah, it's the Bougie AF channel, bringing you the J. Nicole Show. And shout out Miss Kim Waynes. You know how we do here. If anybody asks, you ain't heard this from me. Now, P.S. Please don't get too offended by anything said. I will just claim childhood trauma later on. Enjoy the show. Bye. J. Nicole Bougie AF. So listen, let's go ahead and talk about trash ass Brian McKnight. It's alleged, and he's on our internets talking about why he has decided how it's mutually have been agreed upon his first set of kids that they do not have a relationship. That led this trash ass nigga to have a new son and name it after his first son. Yes, y'all, he has two Brian McKnight Juniors. Yes, just imagine waking up and seeing that your father has no growth to either try or want to reconnect with you and establish some type of relationship with you. No, he's decided to move on and act like you don't exist to accept his new wife and her two previous children and his newborn son. So, you know, there is rumors and there's things that have came out over years of alleged domestic violence and more fact and fiction because there's police reports that are out there that would speak to this, right? You know, he doesn't like that his children didn't turn out the way he wanted, even though there's probably some trash ass behavior that we can point to and him contributing or probably being an absentee father that may have helped that. J. Nicole is Bougie AF. So listen, I came across this story on Instagram and I thought it was really, important for me to talk about this story. Only because I know sometimes we talk about celebrity stuff and, the trash that shit they do. But sometimes I feel like we lose focus on the fact that it's happening in our neighborhood. So take a look.
News right into the Eyewitness newsroom. A registered sex offender accused of raping a 14-year-old girl and giving her HIV was just found guilty of sexual assault of a child a few moments ago. A jury has been following this case for a while here, and the verdict was just announced, as we say, just moments ago by the jury. His name is David Wilson, and he's accused of sexually assaulting the girl over a period of 2 years. She was found to be pregnant, and she tested positive for HIV. Sentencing is starting right now, and he could get up to life in prison. Now, as if that isn't bad enough, he's also accused of sexually assaulting his 23-month-old niece, not even 2 years old. According to court documents, the toddler was taken to a doctor where she was diagnosed with HIV, genital herpes, and chlamydia. Again, not even 2 years old. Now, this isn't Wilson's first time being convicted of the sexual assault. According to the Texas DPS Sex Offender Registry, back in 2004, Wilson was sentenced to 4 years in prison for sexually assaulting another teenage girl. So once again, we have just learned he has been found guilty of sexual assault of a child. This goes back to...
All right, so I wanted to talk about this story because I know as a content creator, there's so much time spent talking about celebrities and stuff, and the celebrities that show up in this capacity that sometimes I think we lose focus that these are also everyday people in everyday people's lives, right? As much as I will talk about the R. Kellys, the about to take a plea ass Polite, the Pink Panther ass Malachi Yorks, or the creepy Uncle Russell Simmons, or Eddie Blancs, or the African Bambadas, or the Nature Boys, I think we also have to talk about the fact that we have these type of men in our communities, in our families, and that we continue to make excuses for them, right? Imagine that your brother, right? Your brother who's already been convicted of some type of sexual assault is out here giving the ninjas, and you thought well enough to leave your child with him because you don't believe he's sick, right? Well, all these women are just trying to tear down this black man, right? Is that what you thought? Like he just got a bad deal in life. We gotta try to work through that. We continue in our homes and in our communities and let these sick motherfuckers coming around our girls, right? And not protecting the young girls in our families, right? And they still continue to do this bullshit, right? Because we don't want to admit that Pookie is sick. We don't want to admit that Pookie need to take his ass in jail and stay there for a very long time, and we can't save everybody, right? We don't want to admit that some people need help, and we need to stop making excuses for them. That's all I got, y'all. Bye. So in the comments, they're like, Joe to the E to the Joe, Isha, where is it at? We couldn't see it, Joe. They are not playing with you in these comments, Joe. They are not playing with you. They said it look moist, Joe. They said we finally understand why you are always going back and forth with women and, you know, dragging women and disrespecting women like you did with them queen, fox soul queen ladies. Yeah, you are disrespectful ass motherfucker. So they just want to know, where's it at, Joe? Where's it at? They said it's moist. They say you got that fat pum 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 girl, fat pum 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 girl. That's what they said, Joe. I'm just telling you what the people said. Don't be mad at me. I'm just telling you what the people said. Listen, you try to ignore these comments. I'm bringing them to life for you, JoJo. They trying to figure out where's the beef. You talking all this shit. Where's the beef? We don't see it. I'm just saying, but I'm saying. Hey, y'all, it's your girl, JackieNicole, Miss Bougie AF. So JackieNicole, Miss Bougie AF. Let's get into this. So listen, yesterday was Juneteenth, and listen, we were outside. Listen, I've seen all of the videos from every state, and people were outside representing from Philly, Cali. Most definitely, y'all were out in Lamert Park, strong, doing y'all black ass thing, and I am so very proud. Someone from Boston, and we celebrated here too, and I've seen pictures and stuff of that. So like, I am really excited for that. But with that being said, there's always this conversation, and like, listen, I went to the Boston's meeting for reparations, a task force meeting, and there was this conversation about the colors. And so I ran across this tonight and was like, listen, I've been meaning to get to it, so let me get to it. So it says here, the great debate: should the Juneteenth flag be red, black, and green, or red, white, and blue? For me, this is easy: red, white, and blue. Listen, red, white, and blue. I'm from Boston, so I'm most definitely familiar with these colors that you see down here, which is the red, black, and green. Most definitely knew what it was associated with, which is in terms of Pan-Africanism. Did my reading on that to find out about what that was about. So very early on, I knew what that was about. I also had like a girlfriend growing up, and her family was really into that. But it's a lot of conversation that is based historically on going back to Africa, and ain't nobody going back nowhere. Mine done died and fought here and all this other stuff, and we continue to fight for our rights here. So ain't nobody going back to nowhere. I'm not associated with them or attached to it or bonded to that at all like that. But with that being said, let's talk about like its infusion within Black American here in America. And I think what has happened is because the aesthetic of seeing it infused in hip hop in the 90s on our TVs, and especially within our culture in a way, like in terms of fashion, right? If you think back to like Queen Latifah, African Bambaataa, even Tupac, even anybody revolutionary that was talking conscious type of rap, most definitely red, black, and green was a major representation of that. If you even look back to like watching like A Different World, I think there was a character, Shaka Zulu, and there was several Shaka Zulu type of characters within our movies or within our TV shows that kind of spoke about that ideology about going back to Africa and being woke about what the white man is doing to you. And I'm not being exaggerated like that, because that's how these characters appeared on our screens, right? So with that being said, I think sometimes people think it played a larger part within our culture than it really did, right? Outside of the East Coast, in terms of being from Boston, so from Boston all the way down to like DC and probably Chicago and certain other major cities, maybe a little bit, you probably can see some Pan-Africanism, especially California, Oakland, and stuff like that. You see that ideology because of the revolutionary factor of, fighting for our civil rights. But outside of that, we black American up in here, red, white, and blue all the way.